Hey travelers, Chris here with another review. We are on Phuket, Thailand, and we are today gonna have a look at the Crowne Plaza Panwa Beach in the east of Phuket. So let's see what this hotel is gonna give us in terms of room, in terms of breakfast, and all the other things that we're looking at. So let's go. So here we are at the Crowne Plaza Panwa Beach. You can see it here already. It lies quite nicely alongside the Panwa Beach, as it is named, and you can also see here from the picture, from the drone shot, that unfortunately in the evening, when the water kind of withdraws from there, it's a lot of sand and not a lot of water. But anyways, as mentioned, it's quite cheap. We paid $70–80. We came with a Diamond Elite status, so I was quite curious to see what we could expect. To be honest, my hopes were not super high. I mean, you cannot expect it at $70 a night. Overall, especially coming from the Intercontinental, it makes it even a harder sell, of course. The location is a bit on the other side of Phuket Island. Most of the hotels are on the west side. Here we are on the east side, as you can see. And that means that you're a bit closer to, for example, the southern pier, where a lot of the diving and scuba diving boats and excursions start from, which is good. But you're also a bit further away from the airport and arguably from the, I guess, nicer beaches on the west side. Now, as you can already see here, this is quite beach focused. And unfortunately, again, with a lot of sand and whatnot, you can mainly make use of it, I think, during the day. You have two pools, you have a big lawn. Overall, I think it's quite a nice building, even though it's not the newest anymore. You can see that when we're actually approaching the lobby. This is the first thing you will see, this big hall, and then they will funnel you into a side room here where you will do the check-in. And already the design, I think, is quite striking. Not sure if I personally like it, but I definitely like the wood that they have everywhere. Check-in was quite uncomplicated. You get a drink that was quite nice, and we were then being escorted on the long and very long walk to our hotel room, which actually really took forever. All right, so let's have a look at this room. Let me double check again on which room we got upgraded to. So this is not the standard room we booked. So anyway, let's have a look. Maybe we start with the entrance area, and already just to give the context here for the hotel, it is a bit of a cheaper one. I think it's around $70–80 per night, so you expect a little bit of a wear and tear looking around, I guess. Nice to get some water, that's always good. And already you can see a little bit here the wear and tear, but anyway, you have a little bit of an entrance area, a little bit of storage area where you can put your stuff over. And then let's have a look at the room in its entirety. You have a little bit of a working desk area. That's actually quite nice in a sense, because when, or if we can open this, you see that we actually have an, I guess in a sense, ocean view from the desk. So that's cool. Ignore the super old but cool looking phone here. Okay, and then the rest. It's very spacious, I have to say. It almost looks a bit empty because there's hardly any furniture here, but you have this quite big couch. We got a little bit of a fruit platter, and then it looks like you can take this out. Okay, there's nothing in here, but there's some more storage, and then also the bed. I have to say, what I do like about this room is the color scheme with like this kind of rust red colored, and the bed actually feels quite fluffy, so that's always good. And again, also from here you have this nice kind of view, and you actually get a lot of light in when you open all these curtains. Going out here actually will also reveal the balcony, and that one is actually quite big for this room type. So if I can manage to open this door, which I can, you see that we have a little bit of a seating area here. You also get, what is nice is you get this kind of wooden stand to dry your towels after going to the beach, and you have even a little bit of an outdoor couch. Yeah, overall it's nice. you cannot expect too much, I think, at that price point, and you can see when you look around that it does look a little bit rusty and you know, it has had probably better times. But again, keeping the price in mind, I think it's at least a very decently sized hotel room. Let's also have a look at the bathroom. What's definitely nice is that you have a big window also in the bathroom, which means that if we look here at the bathtub, we can actually have a bath with the beach in full view. So I think that's really cool. I love that. And also, even from the shower, you can actually see outside. A lot of light coming in. Unfortunately, no rain shower, but cannot have everything. They also don't have refillable, you know, shower gel and shampoo, which is a bit unfortunate. I wish they had these instead of the kind of plasticky little non-reusables. The brand I am not familiar with, it says Silhouette on it. It looks and feels a bit cheap, but again, that's to be expected. Nice sink though, I like that. And then you also have a standard toilet, I guess, here. So overall, I think keeping the price in mind, it's quite okay, but also pretty much what I expected in terms of wear and tear and everything. So that's that. And let's have a look at the other options and other amenities in the hotel. So let's have a look at the amenities such as the startboards and what you can do at the Crowne Plaza. You have on the left side a bar, a beach bar, and also a gym area. There's of course the main swimming pool that you can see prominently right next to the beach. You also have this kind of beach shack where you can rent kayaks and canoes and do some activities. And then on the very right side, across the lawn, you also have this secondary pool that's a bit more kid-friendly. So let me start with the beach bar. You can see it here, it really is right next to the beach. And it looks quite cozy and relaxing. I really like this area. You have this foosball table, you have the aforementioned darts game, and overall it's a very good atmosphere. However, during our time it was mostly empty, which is a bit unfortunate. It really looked nice, and I think people should appreciate it more, but of course there were also mostly families at the resort who might not have the demand for this. Right next to it there was an empty kind of event space slash restaurant. Couldn't really figure out what that one was. Around there, when you walk around the resort, you find some table tennis tables. You can see here there's also a kids club, as well as of course a gym. I think it's quite well equipped. Again, keeping the price in mind as always. I think it's solid. It was just that it needed a little bit more air conditioning because there was quite a bit of a stench in the gym, but nevertheless, always good to have. We then move on to the main pool, and I guess that's also the main highlight, and you can see that it almost looks like an infinity pool from that angle. It really is right next to the beach basically, and creates a really lovely atmosphere, and it seems to be also super popular, at least during our stay. You can see it here. What's kind of nice is that it's also not too far away from the hotel restaurant, so if you want to just grab a quick bite to eat and then go back to swimming, you can easily do that. And as you can see here, it's just a couple of meters and you can dive right into the ocean, so that's definitely a plus. Besides that, as mentioned, you have this little beach shack where you can rent some stand-up paddle boards, you can rent kayaks and so on. I have a bit of a list here of the activities and also the things you can rent, so just pause the video if you like to see more of those. Definitely you won't be bored at this hotel, I believe. Moving then across the lawn, and I definitely didn't have to take 20 takes to get this right, this shot. We see the secondary pool. You can see that it has a bit of a sand beach vibe there on the right side, and it's interesting. To be honest, the pool looked like it has seen better days. It was a little bit dirty, there was some trash around, and what's even more weird was that you had this kind of restaurant or a kiosk or bar or whatever's supposed to be, but it was half closed, so it looked kind of abandoned. And I don't know, the whole atmosphere around this pool was a bit off, and I guess that's why almost everyone just stayed around the main pool. But you can see, at least with the palm trees and the green lawn, it's quite nice. There's also a spa right next to it, however we didn't try it during our stay. And then one more thing to mention around the outside area is that there are also a couple of rooms that have direct access to the smaller pool. So if that's something you like, this might be worth looking out for you. So let's now focus on the most important meal of the day. It's the breakfast at the Mosaic restaurant on the ground floor. Now this is the restaurant you saw already from the main pool. This is also used as the breakfast buffet area, which means that you can also sit outside with the view onto the main pool and onto the beach. So that's quite nice. In general, I like the open design with these large windows. It looks fairly modern. However, I also noticed that it just has a couple of characteristics of a rather cheaper hotel. Now, the food was in general okay. The fruits, are a bit mushy, and the juices are probably made from concentrate instead of the, fresh fruit. But overall, I would describe the breakfast as solid, kind of. Again, $75, and mind, it's fine. I think for sweet lovers, we always come a bit short at those breakfasts, but at least in regards to the savory options, it seemed to be fairly decent. You can see here also a bit of the salad buffet. There are pastries, there's of course a lot of savory dishes, and which I always like to see some more local dishes, which is great. And of course there's also an egg station where you can get different kinds of eggs order-made. Now the fruit juices you can see here were definitely a bit of a disappointment, especially since we're in this tropical paradise where fruits are abundant and you just would expect that this is more solid quality. And there were a couple of usual cornflakes and granola. I'm sorry, granola. Overall, it is definitely okay. What was not so impressive on the other side was the service. You can see here, and I don't know if it is because we sat outside, but it took the staff forever to react to actually take away our plates. So sometimes I would go to the buffet 3 or 4 times and still the original plates were on our table. So that's definitely something where they can improve on. One thing I want to positively highlight is the design of the lobby area. I have to say, in terms of design and also that the lighting in the evening, this is super cozy. There's a bar around for some drinks, and I just really like how they designed this, and that's the first thing you see when you come in, and that's also why my hopes were up initially when we entered the hotel. And you can see that you can also walk outside and have this amazing view over the beach, over the main pool. You're basically sitting on top of the Mosaic restaurant, and definitely thumbs up for that one. That's really a nice place to be and to chill out a little bit. Lastly, I want to mention that we tried out the Mosaic restaurant also as a dinner place. Again, same place. We decided to sit outside right next to the pool on the ocean. You can actually hear the waves. So it's quite charming of a place, I have to say. Overall then, the service again was extremely slow, and it took the staff forever to even come out to bring us our menu and also later bring us the food. You can see here the option. Everything around, at least the Thai dishes, comes in at around $10, so it's definitely not a very expensive place. And I have to say the food was definitely decent. We had the tom yum soup and the tom kha gai. Sorry for butchering this is definitely not how you properly pronounce it. But yeah, the food is alright, especially for the price, but we didn't come back to the restaurant afterwards, so it wasn't anything to write home about. So then, while we're enjoying this flight over Panwa Beach, let me get to the conclusion. Would I recommend you staying in this hotel at the Crowne Plaza? And the answer is clearly no. And the reason for this I want to highlight are actually the wear and tear and kind of the state of the hotel. I already showed you some of the really dirty stains that we had in our room, the cheap plastic card with some paper glued onto it. You just have so many stains, scratches, wear and tear that my overall impression of the hotel got really deeply negatively impacted by that. Overall, the hotel on paper is not a bad hotel. You can stay there cheaply, get a solid breakfast, you have a pool, and the rooms are generally kind of okay. But with all of these little issues, I feel like this hotel is just in dire need of a renovation. There was even a gecko in the shower, which was quite cute. I don't know how I got in there, and also no idea what that was, but it was also in there. Overall, I have to say, if you can, and this is just my mantra for vacations and choosing hotels, I would always go with a newer budget hotel than an old luxury hotel, because the wear and tear, at least for me, is usually something I don't like. And again, wear and tear is one thing, but of course stains, as you saw, it was quite drastic. That's a no-go for me. So if that's not a KO criteria for you, have at it and stay at the hotel. At least it's very cheap, at least during off-season. But just keep in mind what you will be expecting, and the slow service and the breakfast quality definitely didn't help with the overall impression. So that's it from my side, guys. I hope I could help you with this review. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions and I'll try to answer them. And again, if you've stayed at a hotel, it would be really interesting to hear how you liked it and what your experience was. So as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.